there, Cancer. Welcome to a manifestation reading for the period of February through April 21st, when all the planets will be direct, and when the things that you put out into the world may experience the greatest ease in manifestation. But what do you want to manifest? That is the question. Some of you may have some very clear-cut ideas. Some of you may still be kind of like, I haven't even gotten anything started, and that's another important point. We're all in different places, so by no means is this suggesting that you have to do something spectacular, in the next couple of months in order to fulfill this time period, but it's just kind of cool to kind of like periodically look at what kind of things we may be dealing with. And I've been getting this card quite a bit, which is very interesting. Oh, another Pentacles card. I'll explain each position when I get to it. And manifestation is not just about material things or jobs. It can be like love coming into your life, or in this case, the card that I just picked is like associated with spirituality. So for some of you, it might be a more enlightened approach, or maybe you want peace of mind. That certainly can be the case, or maybe all of the above. So the card that I got for the central theme of manifestation is the King of Pentacles. If this is a relationship, it might be with somebody who is mature and financially established. It might be an actual person that you have your sights set on, an earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, or they have like a prominent signature of earth in their chart, even if they're a different sign. But it's this idea of the stability that comes through, especially as it pertains to material resources. This certainly could be something that you wish to manifest within yourself. Now, the king is the ultimate version of that. So whether or not it's within this time period is a different story, but perhaps you have a comfortable life and you want to be even more abundant. And sometimes, they say like the middle class was created in order for people to have just enough to feel comfortable and to be able to take a couple of vacations a year and, to just live at a level that made them feel that they were above the people who were working class and just getting by, And that can be a very big trap because it makes people feel like, okay, well, that's it. That's all she wrote. And for some people, the idea of generating a lot of wealth isn't just because they are just complete materialists. You may have some kind of vision for yourself that takes a lot of money that helps other people. So it's not, this idea of what the King of Pentacles may symbolize for you can be something entirely different than what the average person would just automatically assume. Another thing too is you may wish to take care of other people, perhaps in your family or in your community, and you want to be the one that people can go to. Or just at the very least that you don't have to ever think about money. Where are you coming from that gives you that sense of wanting this? And we have the Nine of Pentacles, another Pentacles card. And this is connected to independent sustenance or wealth even. Well, I don't know if it's wealth, but it's definitely financial independence. Now, sometimes what this can mean, I feel, is that the person who experiences the first taste of this realizes that this is something that they really want to keep in their life. So, for instance, if you are, for some Cancer people, you have left a marriage in the last 15 years since Pluto has been in your seventh house. Some major life change that involves other people with that Pluto in the seventh house, or some kind of a legal matter that totally has changed your life, because the seventh house can be legal affairs too. And what that can do to a person or for a person, but is make them realize how serious that issue is of financial um, independence, because sometimes we're so caught up in the opposite of that that we don't even realize that there is an alternative. And when we finally get there, we're like, oh man, how did I ever tolerate this all these other years? So maybe it's like some kind of an inheritance that you received. I mean, it might not be that you earned yourself, but some money that has allowed you to be independent and not have to endure a relationship that sucks at your soul, or a job that sucks at your soul. And maybe with the King of Pentacles, you're looking for that financial guru, or you want to become this person who is really at the top of your game. So you're not willing to just settle for wherever you are. You want to get to the top. And again, it doesn't have to be that you're just this complete materialist. Or again, it could be that you have been alone and now you want to connect with this individual because you are feeling a sense of connection with this person. The first step to get there, the Two of Wands. There's a path. You're choosing between two routes. Now, the wands can relate to different career paths, and that can certainly affect finances. But also, it can be the choice of passion, because the wands represent passion. And with pentacles, like if we compare those two suits, the pentacles are all about the material and the kind of the groundedness, and the fire element, which the wands represent, is all about expansion. And the funny thing about it is it's not something to choose like one over the other. It's not like, well, I'm going to choose expansion over stability. I mean, because the fire element can be very unstable. Fire can spread rapidly, but that very fact means that it is unstable or unstable. It just grows and grows, but it's also that growth aspect to it. So you may feel at this crossroads, what do I do? I'm being pulled in two different directions. I think that there's also the potential for integration. So let's say this has to do with a particular career path. And with the King of Pentacles, it could have to do with, let's say, the financial system, whether it's like working in a bank or a stock broker, investor, whatever. I don't know. Accountant. Isn't there something like there's a master accountant? Or going for your MBA, I guess that could be part of it. And the fire element is creativity. Well, if you have your own business, I could see like the King of Pentacles as an entrepreneur, to be honest with you. And certainly with the wands, that could be entrepreneurship too, because the wands connect with independence as well as career. So that career independence certainly can be your own, and creativity. So when you own your own business, even if it's bare bones, like, I guess I would call my business bare bones, um, there's that element of creativity, which I find very satisfying because I'm a creative person. I remember one time hearing being an entrepreneur as being creative, and it never occurred to me that that would be the case. I was like, I think that's why I never I never had a desire to have my own business, because it just seemed like so dry, to have a business. But I didn't think of it in terms of like, you're, you know, creating this thing, whether it's a service, whether it's a product, that's you, that's your essence. So of course it's creative. So if you think that you have to choose, you might not have to at all. And you can have both. And maybe um, the very thing that you choose can get you to that, whatever the King of Pentacles means for you. What's coming in is a Seven of Wands. Here's another Wands card. I've been getting a lot of Wands cards. And the wands, as I stated, represent the individual, or maybe I didn't say it exactly like that. And the Seven of Wands, you can see that it's kind of like a defensive posture, which means that the person is fighting for something, but what you're fighting for is yourself. And it's interesting that it's number 7, because 2023 is a 7 universal year. And the number 7 is a turning point. And there are a lot of people in this world who, in the past few years, I mean, what has happened is unreal. What has happened, no matter how you feel about it, you have to agree that it's like mind-blowing what has happened. And yet we go on with our lives. I remember when the shutdown first started, I would walk down the street, and it would, when all most of the businesses were closed, except for the liquor stores and the pot shops. But everything else was closed pretty much, even the churches. And I remember thinking to myself, I can't believe this is happening. It's like, because I had been on this earth long enough, decades long enough, to know that this was so far gone from what I had ever experienced, even on 9/11, even, the dramatic events of our life. And the thing is, it's like, but it's still, we were still living. There was still like this normalcy on some weird level. So it felt like the Twilight Zone. And I don't feel like the Twilight Zone very much nowadays, because so much has gone back to quote unquote normal, but it hasn't. So for some of you, this, and you know that life has changed irrevocably. And yet, it's like, you know that you can't enter the same river twice, and yet you don't quite know what to do, because even if you want to change things, it's like, where do I start? So with the Seven of Wands, you may be kind of flailing around. You may be thinking to yourself, you may be getting pushback from other people even. You know,